We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Jaron Boots Ennis wants to prove all the haters wrong, all the doubters wrong. He want that smoke with Terence Bud Crawford. And don't try to switch sides either. Fight World, it's your boy Ego, and I am back with some more boxing. Boots Ennis on the heels of Crawford versus Spence, which was a one-sided fight, which a lot of people didn't really expect. Boots Ennis, despite that, he still wants smoke with Terence Crawford, even though Crawford looked superb, very sharp, showed his ring IQ, showed poise, composure, dealt with the pressure well. Jaron Boots Ennis did an interview with YSM Sports Media, and he says he's trying to take y'all cheese. Bet against him if you want. When he fights Crawford, if he fights Crawford, he said, you gonna see, and then don't try to switch. Quote, keep doubting me. Keep that same energy. Don't try to switch sides like, I always knew that he could do it. No, I ain't trying to hear none of that. Stay where y'all at. I see everything. When we take your cheese, keep that same energy. I want that now, end quote. This is the words of Boots Ennis, very talented, undefeated switch hitter, much like the undefeated switch hitter Terence Crawford. Just younger, bigger, etc. Now, I gotta be real. I love the energy from Jaron Ennis. Jaron Ennis is talking like a true fighter. You're supposed to want to fight the best and be able to prove and show yourself. Now, this is the real thing, the issue I have with boxing and boxing fans. The level of inconsistency in world boxing is absurd, and I will explain in this video. Why is it absurd? Fans, they clamor for the best versus the best. Then we get it with Crawford taking on Spence Crawford, right? When Spence loses, they try to make fun of him and troll him, but this is what you want. But in these fights like David Benavidez versus Plant, Spence Crawford, Cool Boy Fulton versus Naoya Inoue, right? These fights, there's going to be, most likely, unless it's a draw, it's going to be a victor and it's going to be a loser. So it's like the fans should just celebrate that. You could pick a side before and then, you know, it's just a lot of people are fans surviving off the accomplishments of the fighters. The fighters are the ones taking the risk. I respect Errol Spence. I respect Terence Crawford. They're the ones taking the risk, not the fans who quote unquote picked them and all that type of stuff. But whatever, such is life. But you got a guy like Jaron Ennis, and this is the thing. He wants to challenge himself with the best. He's earned the spot in terms of being the mandatory, so he's worked his way up the ladder. Crawford, I think his team said Boots didn't want no smoke and turned down the offer. And then now I see Crawford fans and the Bud Buddies, they're saying Boots don't deserve it and what's he done to earn the fight. Like, if you want to take a different approach and say Crawford is proven from the Errol Spence fight so he can pick and choose, something like that, that makes more sense than the approach of who is Boots, who is he beat, what is he beat? Because if that's the case, Crawford got a brilliant name on his resume now with Errol Spence. Same outcome, he knocked him out, great. But to undermine his mandatory, but you didn't have a problem when Crawford fought his other mandatory, which is Aegis Kavalauskas, aka Mean Machine. So that's the problem I have, like I said earlier in this video, the inconsistency in boxing. Don't say you want the best versus the best, but then Crawford already got past Errol Spence, and then another great fight to finish up his career would try to take the O of yet another fighter, an undefeated fighter, which would at least be a good fight as long as it lasts. And this is not a fight prediction. I don't make fight predictions for fights that are not announced. So I don't know who's gonna win, but I would love to see it. Crawford versus Boots Ennis, and it's a better option than some obscure name, and it's a better option than some of the people Crawford has previously faced prior to Errol Spence. Nothing changes there, right? He got a great name in Errol Spence. despite Spence being on the layoff, right? Boots is not on the layoff. Boots has fought in January, and he looked mid versus the Karen dude, but then he came back with a spectacular performance against Villa, and that was an eliminator, I believe, and he's a mandatory. So why are fans now saying that it doesn't make sense and stuff like that? But we literally watched David Avanesian Avocado fight. So that fight made all the sense in the world, but a fight with Boots doesn't. And then the same fans are saying Errol Spence looks so poor and Crawford shows so much separation, they don't want to see the rematch. So it's like, what do you want to see? And as far as Crawford, since he's defeated Errol Spence publicly, the name he's calling out is Jermell Charlo, which is a great fight, but it's not a likely fight and it's not realistic based on the fact that Jermell Charlo already has an assigned fight. He already has his next assignment in another weight class, 14 pounds north of where he's at. That complicates things. He's fighting Canelo Alvarez at 168. Who knows if he can even make 154 to come back down to fight Crawford, right? We don't know these things. We don't even know the outcome of Canelo Charlo, nor have we even had a press tour or a face-off. We don't know nothing about that fight officially other than it's supposed to be happening, right? So for me, I wouldn't book or bet on that. And I think Crawford should build on the momentum that he got from working with PBC and Showtime and being in the biggest fight with the best pay-per-view numbers, getting the all access and the epilogue treatment, and a sensational win over Errol Spence. So to me, if it's at 47, who else can he really fight? You know, the only names are Jaron Boots Ennis, Keith Thurman, or maybe a Stanionis, right? And Stanionis is on a bit of a layoff. Keith Thurman is definitely on a layoff. Ain't fought since even before Errol Spence. We just watched that. We just watched a guy who was no match for Terence Crawford coming off a long layoff in Errol Spence, who was perceived as higher up than Keith Thurman. So I like the Keith Thurman and Crawford fight a lot, but I don't like it with Keith Thurman's inactivity. That kind of goes in line with some of the other guys that Crawford has fought, fighting guys like Sean Porter on a 450 plus day layoff, Errol Spence on a 14-month layoff, Gamboa I think was on an 8, 10-month, 12-month layoff, etc., etc. So I would rather see a fight with Jaron Boots Ennis right now, based on him being young and hungry and active, and also a switch hitter. Stylistically, it's just a great fight. Whether Boots can win or not, he's sounding confident, and that's the whole thing. And Crawford's already showcasing his skill. So at the end of the day, he has to fight someone if he's going to continue fighting. Why not build off the momentum? If Boots is easy work, then it's just like trash on a Thursday. Take out the trash if he's not ready and all that stuff. But this is what boxing fans do. They claim they want the best versus the best, but then when a person steps up, then they say, oh, he's not ready for it. But then they'll say nobody wants to fight Crawford. He's the boogeyman. You know what I mean? This is the contradictions that we see in boxing. You'll have guys who are perceived boogeymen, and then they're like, oh, I can't get no fights. Like, let's say Shakur Stevenson. Some people say, oh, he can't get any fights. But then Edwin De Los Santos is calling him out, right? There's different names that are calling him out. So which one is it? We can't say Crawford, nobody just wants to fight him, and then Boots wants to fight him, and then you just dismiss it as he ain't done nothing. So I understand Boots' energy, to be honest, where he's saying, don't switch sides. I see everything. If you're rocking with me and giving me a shot, then cool. But if you're not, then, you know, stay over there. And that's what was happening in boxing. You know, Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, Crawford's team pretty much had the same thing. They're like, you don't think I could beat Errol Spence? Cool. Stay on that side. Right. So it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think. Spence, do you want to see a rematch? Do you want to see Crawford fight a guy like Boots? Boots is sounding confident. Again, if he's going to stay at 47, that's, for me, the best bang for your buck. That makes the most sense with an active, young, hungry lion. That would be like kind of like when Mayweather at age 36. And see, here's the thing. People are like, oh, Boots, he's not ready. And, you know, Crawford already proved everything with the Errol Spence. But so did Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather has a better resume than Terence Crawford in his totality. And at 36, he was still putting on the biggest events. And at age 36, which Crawford will be next month, he was still fighting the likes of Canelo, a 23-year-old bigger fighter, and he fought him at a catchweight, right? So what's the difference here? And he had already, I mean, imagine when Floyd fought Canelo, he could have been like, oh, yo, I already fought and beat Cotto and Shane Mosley. I already had these wins. I already beat Maidana twice. So why do I need to fight Canelo? But he kept giving us those fights to close out his career. And then he later fought Pacquiao, and the rest is history. So I don't really understand some of the comments I'm reading about not fighting Boots and why Crawford shouldn't absolutely fight him and Boots ain't deserving it. For me, I don't really get that. I made a video about it. If not Boots at 47, what fight do you want? Especially since, again, a lot of people said they don't want to see the Errol Spence rematch. And even Errol Spence at 47, I definitely don't really, I don't even know if Errol Spence can be ready to beat Crawford in a few months. But if they are going to fight, why do I want to see it at 47 when we just seen the outcome at 47, if that makes sense? So that fight loses some of its luster if it's at 47 on top of all things, because it looks like Errol Spence is definitely struggling to stay at that weight. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. I said what I said, and I'm out. Introducing Super Thanks. Right here on the official Boxingego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new interactive and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.